April 20th. Time and temperature brought to you by H&R Block.
I think all of us across the country have incredible respect for Elizabeth Edwards and for John Edwards.
I'm looking forward to seeing both Elizabeth and John on the campaign trail going forward.
As Americans, we should spend more, invest more in cancer research.
I think we're getting far too much credit. And one of the reasons that I want to be president of the United States is to make sure that every woman and every person in America gets the same kind of things that we have.
Elizabeth Edwards front and center at a candidates forum in Las Vegas yesterday in the presidential campaign this week. We just saw the survivors at the Dana-Farber Center had no debate over what the Edwards should do. Here to debate it on the roundtable, I'm joined as always by George Will, Sam Donaldson, and Cokie Roberts. George, are they doing the right thing?
Oh, absolutely. There can't be very many people watching this program this morning who haven't been directly touched or through a family member or a friend by cancer.
Including all of us.
Including all of us. Which means that this is a fact of life, an unpleasant fact of life, but it's part of living. And so what we're witnessing from Elizabeth and John Edwards is gallantry. And a lot of Americans have displayed it.
You got to give them both A for courage, A+, absolutely. But let's talk politics. And you say, no, it has no place in this story. Yes, it does. John Edwards is running for the presidency. That's politics. And a lot of Americans, I can't tell you the number, are going to say maybe he made the wrong decision. And we heard his wife say, no, I want him to run. The country needs him. And he acceded to that. Let us suppose that's true. But other Americans are going to say, we see the grim statistics. We hope she's one of those who lives a long, long time with this disease. Unfortunately, and you just talked to a man who's one of the experts in the field, that is not the case for everyone. Not the case for most people, as a matter of fact. And so will he be distracted by his wife's care? I mean, these are political questions, not just questions.
And the voters will make that decision.
If the voters think he's going to be distracted, don't vote for him. But don't sit around and say how they should be running their lives.
That's right.
This whole debate over he should be home with his wife, he should be doing this, it's none of their business. You know, how somebody gets to handle their cancer
but if
is
enough
really not...
You're right there. Who they vote for is their business.
That's right, exactly. And so just don't vote for him if that's the case. But, you know, and I do think that this teaching moment is great. And one of the things that we haven't talked about that this really does show is we all keep talking about how now there are great therapies for breast cancer, and breast cancer survivors do survive longer and all of that. And it's because of advocacy. And all of those, you know, people racing for the cure and all that, it works. The research dollars that come in as a result of it, research follows dollars. It's been a great moment.
There's no question that presidents, it's part of the risk of life that you can elect a president who will then have distracting private sorrows. Lincoln lost a child in the White House, as did Calvin Coolidge. But that's no reason for saying that if you have a private distraction, a private grief, a private sorrow, you can't serve in public office.
Lincoln's griefs came up, when I say unexpectedly, certainly not something that the statistical table in advance
But would that have been a reason for voting against Lincoln?
With some voters, it might be. That's my only point. Well, I'm not going to tell you how I might vote,
we have
some
seen
voters.
over the course of campaigns when candidates have health problems, they tend to take a fall very, very quickly. This is somewhat uncharted territory given the fact that they're staying in. And Cokie, when I look at it, I think it's very likely that the Edwards will get a huge boost now just because of all the attention, but over time people might start to have
absolutely, and I think that's exactly right. I think that people will sit there and say, particularly if he does have to leave the trail for times.
And what choice would he have?
Remember with Bill Bradley back in Iowa, you know, saying that he had some problems with his heart, and then he has a picture of himself lying in bed on the front page of the paper, which, you know, just his ratings went into free fall. And I think that if you start to see things like that, the voters could respond. But right now, it's a different response, and I think it should be a different response.
What I'm saying is there's a difference between the great sympathy, empathy, and applause for the courage of this couple. You both said it, and I agree. It's a private decision. They made it. More power to them. And the voters' judgment along the way this year, and should he become the nominee after that.
And we will.
I'm simply talking from the political standpoint. I think it's not going to cut in their favor.
We will find out soon. Let's move on to another political matter.